And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Come on, everybody. Here we go.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Film Box Podcast. I am your chef de cuisine, Aaron Souza, joined by my sous chefs, Connor and Sam. The usual crew is here today in the kitchen, and we're talking about the movie Chef today.
Yes,
How are you
chef.
guys doing?
Cooking up,
Yes, chef.
cooking up a storm right now.
Yes, chef. Yeah, so this is the last month. Oh, God, that voice crack. Did you hear that? Did you guys get that a little bit?
Yep,
It's the last month.
Yep.
Just so emotional.
I know. Oh, it's so sad. It's the last month of our summer of fun. So this month we're doing movies that feel like summer, movies that give off that summer vibe. And first up this month we had a personal pick of mine, a dearly beloved film close to my heart, Chef from 2014. So we'll be talking about that today. But before we get into all of that, guys, what are you drinking and what have you been watching lately?
I am sipping on some lemonade.
Nice. I just realized I don't have a drink and I'm gonna have to get one. So give me like a hot 30 seconds. You guys can go.
Jesus Christ.
Connor,
If this is
what
the
are you
head of our...
drinking?
I got my water. If this is the head of our kitchen, we're going under.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Man, I forgot
Might-
to order the beef for us.
Yep. You got fired like, You got fired like Carl did.
Yeah.
Alright, there he is.
There you go.
Were you guys just stalling that whole time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
said
said
you got
nothing
fired
of
like
note.
Carl did.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, who wants to kick us off on what they've been watching?
Oh, what are you drinking, Aaron?
What am I drinking? Well, I just picked up a water
Wow.
and Franny's, please sponsor. No, all right, I'll go through what I've been watching lately because
Okay.
I'll kick us off.
You gotta right the ship.
Yes, I do. So, since the last time we watched Jaws, I pulled a double feature on the 27th. I went in the morning and watched Deadpool and Wolverine, which was a fun experience. Really, it was decent. I had some issues on it. The review is out on the site. You can read my thoughts on it. There were a couple things I wasn't too keen on, but it was fun. It was fun. It was funny. That's what mattered. But to follow that up, same day, we watched in a recorded special watch along on that's live on the pod on Spotify now. We watched Malibu Hot Summer, aka Sizzle Beach, USA, the film debut of one Kevin Costner, and probably the worst movie I have ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Follow that up with Young Woman in the Sea, the Daisy Ridley Disney movie, and then Chef for today's episode.
Very
That's
solid.
nice.
Mhm.
I kind of did a double header and a triple header. Well, technically a
Multiple heads.
Yes, multiple heads. So I
There you
started
go.
off with
He was given head left and right.
well, yo.
he was getting head left and right.
Hey, there. That's more
Alright.
like it.
I fixed it for you.
Before I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, it was semi-spoiled to me about that I should probably watch the early 2000s Marvel movies.
Is it a spoiler
uh,
or is it a helpful hint?
Kind of a spoiler because I had a feeling I knew who was going to be in it. So I watched Daredevil, the Ben Affleck Daredevil. I watched Elektra.
Mm.
So that's kind of a doubleheader. And then I wanted to rewatch Deadpool, so I watched Deadpool 2, and I watched Logan, and then I went to go see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I want to say it's almost in the same boat as Spider-Man No Way Home, that they relied a little bit too much on the cameos and the nostalgia. However, I did enjoy Deadpool better than that. I think that they did it better, and there was a better plot to the movie than Spider-Man. So
Interesting.
and it's kind of like a Deadpool movie, so you have to go in expecting like spin-offs or not spin-offs, but spoofs,
Fourth
and
wall
stuff.
breaks,
spoofs
and
and
all
stuff
that
like
stuff.
that. And then of course I watched Malibu Hot Summer. I loved it. Just kidding.
Hey, look, it was a good movie to watch for content.
Yes.
For content. But if you sit down and watch that by yourself alone in a dark room,
You got some
you're a little bit strange.
Like I was.
That was a movie, Connor. I was half expecting you to turn on the lights halfway through.
Honestly, I probably should have, because I was falling asleep. But it was like just so hilariously bad that it was like keeping me entertained.
That's the best part. That's the best kind of movie for content.
Yeah. And then I finished off it with Chef the other night.
Nice.
So, I forget where I left off, if I mentioned Traffic or not. I'm going to assume I didn't, so I watched Traffic. Watched Malibu Hot Summer with these fine gentlemen. Yeah. I think we've said everything we needed to say about it. It's just 10 out of 10 movie. I watched Little Women with my girlfriend Erin. That was great.
Nice.
Sticking with the theme of women, I watched Pieces of a Woman. With Vanessa Kirby, Shia LaBeouf. It's all right. I mean, it's good, but it didn't stick with me as much. Then I watched Still Alice again with my girlfriend Erin. That was good. That made me tear up a lot. Then today did a little triple header. I watched Rope, Inception, and Chef, knocking off a bunch of movies from my watch list. And
what'd you think of Inception?
Oh my god, I need to start
giving
like
a mindfuck movie.
It
almost
is. It is and it isn't. Like there's I need to start giving myself a bit more credit, because the reason I put it off so long is I thought I just wasn't smart enough to understand it. It's not. It's not that complex. I mean, it 1000% is, but you know, there's only like one scene where I didn't know what was happening.
That's not that bad. That's not that bad. All things considered.
Exactly.
All right. So that's what we've been watching lately. That's what we're drinking. Before we get into the review, we got a little game to play, guys. We're bringing it back. It's the Rotten Tomatoes card game. Different from Sam's Rotten Tomatoes game, which we have so lovely named.
I got a name for it.
What's the name for it?
Well, I mean, we're not playing it today, so you're gonna have to wait till next time.
Okay. All right. Just tease me a little bit more. Why don't you? Just like play with my asshole right there.
Jesus Christ.
Aaron,
hey, can you tell that he watched Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever. So we're playing the Rotten Tomatoes card game. If you're new to the podcast, first off, actually, before I get into all of that, if you're new to the podcast and you like what you're listening to, share it with your friends. Helps us out. And before we get into the review, I just want to say thank you for listening. And I know I usually say at the end of the show, kind of wanted to say at the beginning of the show too, because I know we're picking up some new listeners and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, if you're enjoying the last few episodes, share with your friends. Let your friends. That's the best way for us to grow and for you to grow along with us.
He was just joking. We're actually ending the podcast right now. So
yeah, this is the last episode we're ever gonna do. No. So this is the Rotten Tomatoes game. The way this is going to work is I've got 5 cards. I'm going to read out the names of the movies, and it's your job to give me the order from highest to lowest of the critic scores on Rotten Tomatoes. Ready? Good? All right. Movies. We've got Coming to America, the first one. Brokeback Mountain. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Wait.
Armageddon.
Wait.
Oh.
Okay.
Armageddon. And Air Bud.
Which Air Bud? Just the first?
I was gonna say, I'm assuming it's the
first the
Air Bud,
original
right?
Air Bud. Yep.
I honestly want to say Brokeback Mountain is number 1.
I think so. I'm trying to
I think
remember when we had the when we did Emma Watson's Rotten Tomatoes game. Your game. I don't know if Sorcerer's Stone came up. I don't think it did.
No, I don't think because didn't she have like a stacked top 5 or something
She did.
like that?
So that makes me think. I mean, but we could say that and her low could be like an 86.
Yeah.
I feel like Coming to America was, but then again, it's also a comedy, so I don't know how high those get.
Those
rated.
aren't really. I was gonna say those usually don't get rated that high. Honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards Brokeback Mountain as number 1.
Me too. I think we'll do Brokeback 1. Do you want to do? I don't think Armageddon was
2?
like. What was that?
I was gonna say Harry Potter 2, maybe.
I think
First
so.
one, so I know it's not the highest rated one, but
Armageddon.
What was it?
3?
Air Bud?
Air Bud, yeah.
Air Bud. Yep.
That one I think last.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight you on that one.
I don't think that's gonna.
I love that.
I don't
It's like the pause is like, nah, you're probably right.
I don't think that movie is better than the 4 other ones.
But listen, it's the movie that spawned a legacy. So,
Air Bud is iconic.
Is Air Bud on the same tier as Sorcerer's Stone?
No.
We'll see.
No.
We'll
see.
You want to do Armageddon 3 Coming to America 4? Or switch it?
Well, you said something about Armageddon before.
I just said I don't know if it was super high rated.
I want to say it wasn't really.
You want to do Coming to America 3 then?
Armageddon 4 and then Air Bud.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Alright. So, Aaron, it is...
Alright, what are you locking in?
Brokeback Mountain, Sorcerer's Stone, Coming to America, Armageddon, Air Bud.
Alright. Boys, this was a bit of a warm-up, but you got 4 of them correct. Or, sorry,
Wait,
3
what?
of them
I was gonna say.
You got...
I was gonna say, that doesn't...
You got 3
That
correct.
doesn't add up.
So going from the top, it was Brokeback Mountain was number 1 at an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes.
87? Ow.
87. Then we had Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone at an 81%.
I almost called it.
And then Coming to America was correct at a 73%. In 4th place was Air Bud with a 45%. And Armageddon was dead last with a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Damn.
Jeez, I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah, it was low.
Wait, what'd you say it was?
38%.
Oh, it's up to a 43 now.
Oh, well, you know.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah, what's Air Bud
All
at?
right, I've got some more for you. This one's going to be a lot harder Gonna put that out there.
Okay.
All right. So your movies are, in honor of the movie coming out this week, we've got Deadpool, the original Deadpool. Crazy Rich Asians.
Okay.
The Breakfast Club.
Wait.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
The Sound of Music. And The Matrix.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, yikes.
I told you this was going to be a lot harder.
Yeah. Just a skosh, if you will.
This is hard. Breakfast Club 1? Or Crazy Rich Asians 1?
Or the Matrix 1.
Or The Matrix 1? Or Deadpool 1? Or Sound of Music 1?
Deadpool, I want to say, is like mid-80s.
I think I was looking at that. I know it has like a...
I think the audience score is like in the 90s.
I think the audience score is pretty high.
But
I know
think,
on Letterboxd it's pretty high too.
I want to say it's like 84 or something. Around there. The problem is...
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you.
It's just banger after banger after banger after banger. I think The Matrix is 1, just because I'm trying to think about all like the IMDb top movies, and I know it's IMDb versus
Matrix is on there. Yeah,
Matrix is always on it. So I would say that's 1. I feel like Crazy Rich Asians can sneak on a list here or there, definitely towards the back end. But I feel like Sound of Music would be.
I think the Sound of Music is probably the least out of all of these songs.
I kind of feel like it might be The Breakfast Club.
Really?
Yeah. Don't smirk.
I just love this debate that's happening. It's great.
You got the two intellects.
I want to say that. I want to say The Breakfast Club is up there though.
Well, I'm gonna need some decisions to be made here, boys.
I feel like Deadpool might be the low end. Honestly, maybe this might just be one of those rounds where they're all 90s and like Deadpool is like an 84 or an 85.
That's probably what it is.
I want to say The Sound of Music was good if it had that much staying power. So I kind of want to do Sound of Music 2, Breakfast Club 3, Crazy Rich Asians 4, and then Deadpool. Kind of go reverse order of how we read them. But I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah, see, I don't think Crazy Rich Asians is that low, though.
Again, the low end could be an 88. But I'm more than fine, because personally, I love Crazy Rich Asians, so I'm more than happy being on the high end of it. But I feel like 3 is probably the highest.
3 is the highest you'd go?
I think so. And I think it's just whether or not...
Again, I don't...
You want to do Breakfast Club 2?
I was thinking Breakfast Club 2 and then Sound of Music or Crazy Rich Asians.
I think we go with Sound of Music before Crazy Rich Asians. Actually, you know what? No, fuck it. Riding with the gut. We're gonna go. Let's do Crazy Rich 3. Sound of Music 4.
3. And then Deadpool.
Yeah. Unless is Sound of Music actually you were right all along and that's actually the low end.
It probably is, but whatever. We'll just lock it in.
All right, we're gonna.
Okay, what do we got?
The Matrix, Breakfast Club, Crazy Rich Asian, Sound of Music, Deadpool.
Well, boys, pulled out a buzzer beater, and I didn't think you were gonna do it because you were this close to getting none of them.
Oh,
but you got one of them.
Sick.
So starting from I'll start from the bottom this time. The Sound of Music was the bottom.
Damn, should have trusted you.
At an 83%.
Yeah.
Okay, so the lowest one's
Connor,
83. Come on.
Yes. Connor, dead on Deadpool's rating, 85%. That was number 4. The Matrix was number 3.
Damn.
At an 88%.
Oh.
The Breakfast Club was the one you got right at number 2 with an 89%.
Oh, damn.
And Crazy Rich Asians, number 1, a 91%.
Jeez.
That was a tough one. That was
That
one.
was
Yeah,
tough.
Connor,
yeah.
you initially read out like, this is the order I think it is, and they were all wrong. And I was like, please lock that in.
No, I'm not.
We don't
you.
need another Jennifer Lawrence like you guys did with
Oh
me.
my god, that was I was hoping, but you got one. Like I said, you pulled out the buzzer beater. You got the one. You placed Breakfast Club correctly. All right, now that we've kind of warmed up the palate, you guys are ready to go to talk about this movie. Why don't we get into the review? You guys ready to
Why
review
don't
Chef?
we?
Of course.
All right.
What music are you gonna play? Oh.
I don't have any music for this one,
Okay.
unfortunately. It's all copyright. So Chef is a 2014 American road comedy drama film, directed, written, co-produced by, and starring one Jon Favreau. So he did all of that stuff. If you don't know Jon Favreau, he's fucking awesome. He's everywhere. Jon Favreau has done. He's most probably recognized as Happy in the MCU for a lot of people. But he's directed a lot of really great movies, including Elf. And the 2019 Lion King, which is not that good, but that's okay. And he's recently taken over work on the Star Wars franchise.
I was gonna say,
doing
he's
a lot of the
definitely done a
shows,
lot of
especially The
Star
Mandalorian.
Wars.
Yeah, The Mandalorian more recently. And then he was in a bunch of like rom-coms in the early 2000s, like The Breakup, Couples Retreat, Four Christmases, all that kind of stuff, which were fun movies. And he was also in The Wolf of Wall Street. So he's done a lot, very recognizable. Stars in Chef. Cinematography by Kramer Morgenthau. He did work on Game of Thrones, which is pretty sick. Let's see. He worked on Game of Thrones, 2 episodes of Game of Thrones in 2012. And is the cinematographer for Captain America Brave New World coming out this year. Also did Thor the Dark World and did Cowboys and Angels and did, it's all sorts of stuff like that. Creed 2, there you go. Creed 2, Connor.
Mm-hmm.
And Creed 3. He was a cinematographer for Creed 3.
Love his style.
Yeah, he's done a lot. Yep. Distributed by Open Road Films. This movie was released May 9th, 2014, and had a runtime of 114 minutes. With a budget of $11 million, guys, I need you to guess how much money this movie made at the box.
What'd you say the budget was again?
$11 million.
Let's do
97.
a good solid 50.
What'd you say, Connor?
97.
Okay, Sam wins. It was $46 million.
I mean, neither of us went.
So-
We both went over. So
Yeah.
By the Aaron rules, it still wins.
Yes, but if you double it,
so
then
yeah.
you get to mine.
There you go. Fair enough. All right. So, Sam, do you want to run us through the reviews for Chef?
I do.
All right.
All right. So on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie on the tomato meter has an 87%,
Love it.
and then with an audience score of 85%. So
Love it.
not too shabby with that. For some Google reviews I found, it was pretty good, pretty highly rated. There's a lot of 5 stars. So this 5-star says, having a low day, let Chef take you and take over and take you on a wonderful ride of emotions. I love food, cooking shows, and mukbang video.
Okay. Mukbang.
mukbang videos.
Gross.
And this is right on top of the best cooking videos too.
That's not something you really want to openly admit to the internet, right? Like, man, I love some mukbang.
You got to be in the know in order to say that, because if you go up to someone just at random and are like, "You ever see this mukbang video?" They're like, "What?"
They're gonna say bless you.
They're gonna say like, "Fine,
Would you
God."
call me?
Yeah. I have a church that you can go to.
Church of the Latter-day Saints.
All right, let me finish my review.
Church of the Mukbang.
Shut the fuck
I don't know where he's going.
Blah, 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 blah.
I don't know. Jesus.
You can okay. Continuing this review, trying to keep on track. It says you can see that there's so much effort gone in behind the scenes to make it look as effortless and aesthetic as it does. I mean, you know you've done a great cinematography when you have Scarlett Johansson and Sofia Vergara in one film, and yet all the waits is for Jon Favreau to cook something from scratch.
Oh, I love you've done a great cinematography when it's like you sit down and rush. I will have one cinematography, please. Thank you very much.
One ScarJo, please.
One ScarJo, please. We talked about this just to go on a tangent.
Yeah, again.
We talked about this on the Sharknado pod when it was just Connor and I, how much Sam reels us back from just going off out into the distance on whatever tangent we're on. And it's like ever since we said that, every episode I noticed that Sam's just like, guys, we're doing a podcast.
Well, I don't want to have this podcast be an hour and 45 minutes long when half of an hour is just us talking about random shit.
Talking about
Hey, man.
mukbangs.
We're talking about
That Sharknado pod was very long.
all right, so that was the 5-star. And then the couple 1-stars I got is this says predictable trite plot. The young boy's performance was the only positive of the entire movie. Very disappointing.
Oh,
amateur,
I bet it was.
Lame story. So many veteran actors with lame script and dull performances. That was one. And then another one says, if I was served rubbish like this in a restaurant, I'd have my stomach pumped and then ask for a refund. Cynically predictable, this junk food will make any... This is junk food that will stunt any growth of the brain.
What?
Brother, this is the food of
Did
America.
we watch the same movie? Yeah. Damn. That guy really did not like food, I guess.
This one says, waste of time. Tried making the sandwich, didn't taste good. There are better cooking shows out there.
You know what? Not to go off on a tangent, but you ever see those they're like the recipes online and people will just like comment underneath them like, oh, I tried to make a Cubano, but I didn't have bread, so I used rice and it came out awful. Please change your recipe. And
literally,
that's what that review reminds me of. I didn't have bread, so I used
directions
a watermelon.
unclear. Got my dick stuck in a toaster.
I accidentally cut
I
my
watched
dick off and
too
put
many
it in the
mukbang
sandwich.
videos.
Yeah, he was too busy watching mukbang. He forgot about the sandwich.
The recipes are available too, because this is they made a TV show based off the movie with.
Yeah, so that is one thing I wanted to touch on. This movie, like Jon Favreau learned from Chef Roy Choi how to cook for this, like how to properly cook as a chef for this movie. And he loved it so much that he actually spun off his own cooking show, Jon Favreau did, with Roy Choi, called The Chef Show on Netflix, which if you haven't seen it is fucking incredible. It's so good. I love it. But you can thank this movie for that show if that's something that you've watched.
I've just been looking at the recipes and like I don't know how. Like I know the first positive review was saying how like it makes you hungry, you want to cook, you just get that love for cooking again. And I'm just looking at some of these, like even something as simple as the grilled cheese. Like, ugh, Man, I would do some devilish things for one of those right now.
Oh yeah.
You looking up mukbang?
No. Just close that tab.
All right, so now that we've sufficiently gotten ourselves hungry, Connor, why don't you bring us through this the plot of this movie?
Yes. Okay. So, chef Carl Casper is the head chef of, I don't know how to pronounce this, Goles?
Sure.
A restaurant in Brentwood, Los Angeles. Although popular with his kitchen staff and hostess Molly.
Galoise, by the way. It's Galoise
in Brentwood. Although popular with his kitchen staff and hostess Molly, he clashes with the restaurant's owner, Riva, who wants him to stick to the same menu of classical cuisine rather than innovative dishes. Carl has a strained relationship with his rich ex-wife, Inez, and their tech-savvy preteen son, Percy. When Carl has a chance to serve prestigious food critic and blogger Ramsey Mitchell, Riva demands...
Michelle.
Okay. I don't pay attention to names, clearly. Riva demands he prepare old favorites at the last minute rather than the innovative ones he wants. Carl concedes, leading to a scathing review from Ramsey. To unwind, he takes Molly back to his house and cooks for her, if you know what I mean. Percy creates a Twitter profile for Carl where he sees that Ramsey's review for his cooking has gone viral.
All right. This opening montage, and I know I talk a lot, like when we get these going about opening scenes and stuff like that. This opening montage, man, it sets the mood. It's the cooking montage of it, all that amazing looking food. Like it sets the mood in such a way that you know it's not just like, oh, this is just like a Hollywood movie about a restaurant. Like this, they're legit. They went all out for this.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks awesome. The food looks great. The preparation looks real. And it's so impressive. I loved every second of it.
Yeah. I just love movies about cooking. Like, I really like Burnt. Obviously we got Ratatouille.
Burnt's good, yeah.
But even a movie that came out last year, The Taste of Things, where it's solely just about like the relationship you have with someone while cooking. I don't know what it is. It makes me feel so motivated. Like, damn, I could do this. I want to do this.
Mm-hmm. Love it. I like too how fast you can tell into this movie that Carl is just a totally absent father.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can tell, one, great chef. Obviously, he's a great chef, but he is not there as a parent, and it's very clear from the get-go that that is not what he's about.
Yeah. But I feel like that's kind of the case with every movie show about cooking. Is just look how stressful it is to be the head of a kitchen and the tolls it takes on your personal relationships.
Absolutely. But then you get a little bit of humor too, of like he brings along his son to go shopping, and he's like, all right, you're not going to ask me for anything, right? Like, no, I won't ask for anything. Is typical kid, right? No, I won't ask for.
Good.
Immediately when they get there, hey, Dad, I want some kettle corn. Hey, Dad, kettle corn.
But no, you're going to have a fruit. Look at this orange. Eat the orange.
And then cut to them eating kettle corn. And he's just like, yeah, so, you know. He's pulling some mukbang over.
You're just going to say that now anytime someone eats.
Yep. Every time in this movie that someone eats.
You just got back from a dinner. You guys were having a mukbang.
God. I do. I really like to, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I like how simple the narrative is in that, like, the movie's like, yes, his ex-wife is rich. No, we're not going to tell you why. You don't care.
It doesn't matter.
It's just how it is.
It
doesn't matter.
You don't need to know how Jon Favreau bagged Sofia Vergara. You just don't worry about it. And how he also bagged
and Scarlett Johansson.
It's the same. I was gonna say it's like when Adam Sandler bagged
anyone.
Anyone in any of his
everyone.
movies.
Exactly.
Jennifer Aniston, Drew Barrymore. Which one do you want?
Yeah. No, it's like grown-ups. Like it's the
Yeah.
same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of them.
Oh,
that's so true.
I will say though, men and women out there, but if you really want to impress someone, learn how to cook.
Oh, 100%. That is like the biggest thing in my relationship.
Same.
Em loves that I cook. Oh, yeah.
Me and Aaron will both.
It's such a huge deal.
We'll cook for each other, and we're about to move in together. So I have like a little notebook of all like the meals we cook together. So now we have like a little recipe book going. But
oh, that's cute.
Thank you.
That's cute. Nice. You should put it together in a legit book.
I might just take pictures of everything and just slap it together.
No, like handwrite all of them, laminate, put them in a like on a thing. He's definitely got all of them handwritten. Yep, he's got a notebook.
I have passwords on this. Yeah, first thing
Nice.
was a creamy garlic chicken and rice dish. First thing I ever cooked for her.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
No, you should legitimately do like a scrapbook that has your recipes and it's got pictures of you two together and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I will.
That'd be a great little like anniversary gift or something like
Aaron,
that.
if you're listening, don't listen.
Don't. Come back later.
Skip this one.
Or don't, honestly.
Oh, we need listens.
I like how quickly they, speaking of like streamlining the story, they get to the first review so fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it starts off like, we've got a big critic coming in. This is how it's going. And here's how it went.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, well, same thing with like the conflict with Riva, the boss or the owner.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, you're gonna cook my food, and Carl's like, well, why don't I cook something good? And he's like, no, and Carl's like, okay.
And I think too, it's such a good way of playing into like the two different dualities of a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a chef who wants to be fulfilled creatively and make amazing food and make some amazing dishes that people are going to love. But then on the other side, you get the restaurant owner who wants to make money
Mm-hmm.
and knows what the customer likes and knows what sells.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such an interesting duality between the two. I don't think it's enough appreciation on this movie. It's so well done.
Yeah, because I like that they added the line about, because normally it's just like, oh, the boss is like stifling my creativity, and they don't really show like the other side. But here it was Dustin Hoffman. He was like, you know those sweet cakes you made? Didn't sell a single one. Like, you just wasted all of our time.
No one bought those.
So
yeah, we bought all that stuff for you to make it. No one bought any, and we had to take it off the menu. And it's like, oh, I kind of get it. Like, yeah, we have a big critic coming in, but also you're going to have a packed house of people that are going to want to order the usual stuff that they order when they go there.
yeah.
I got to say, this movie, and more people will come into it as we go, perfectly casted. Every single person in this movie knocks it out of the park.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Sofia Vergara is great. Who plays the son? MJ Anthony was really good as Percy.
Mm-hmm.
John Leguizamo is awesome. I love John Leguizamo. He's great. He's such a good actor. Bobby Cannavale, ScarJo, Oliver Platt, Dustin Hoffman, like everyone's so good
for the one scene he's in.
It's just everyone's so good in it, and I love that. Like they just chose people to play each character perfectly.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just great chemistry. Because you can cast them perfect, but if they don't bounce off each other and they don't feel like they have, especially with Favreau and Leguizamo, they're supposed to be really good friends. It doesn't work if you don't feel like they're friends.
And And they do a good job of that too.
Absolutely.
I mean, in the movie, like they write these characters in a way that like you can tell these guys care about each other like 100%.
Yeah,
I think the chemistry is pretty good between all of them too.
It was absolutely good. All right, do we want to move to the next?
Well, I was going to say too, I liked, because once we get to the review, I love how personal it is, especially like looking back once you get to the end, and not to jump ahead, but we understand why Ramsey didn't like Carl. It's just so funny that he was just like, yeah, this fat fuck back there just can't cook. Like, have you seen this fatty?
Yeah, and honestly, I love it. It's so funny. First off, it's like I know why the restaurant sucks. It's because Carl Casper ate all of the good ingredients. It's like, god damn, that's a bang. That's a burn.
It was like
that's a bar.
I'm pretty sure the line was like, I know how Carl got fat is because he was eating all the food that got sent back.
Yes, that's what it was.
That's a bang.
Jesus. You know, but like I love to, as critics, as people who write about movies in this instance, but like in that sense, like I love how the review does not hold back, because really that's what a review should be. Like, it is an honest opinion that is not going to hold back, because you know someone, or you have personal, you know, feelings towards someone, or in our case, like you're a fan of the movie, or you know, whatever. A review is supposed to be unbiased, and it's supposed to tell it like it is, and it's supposed to have a personality. And his review was all of that.
A little personal, but
in spades. a little personal, but I mean, it was, and I appreciate that. It wasn't just like, oh, here's the bad review, or here's the review. Oh man, he said he didn't like it. Like, you know, they actually like legit wrote a thick ass review.
It makes it funny knowing that like that's probably what Jon Favreau wrote to say about himself.
Oh yeah, he was in there like, Carl is a fat fuck.
Deadbeat
Man,
dad.
I am a fat fuck.
Deadbeat dad. No bitches. Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna write myself as to get Sofia Vergara and ScarJo, but also I'm fat and a bad dad. That cancels each other out, right?
Yeah, it's like what's it, like the general ledger. It all equals out in the end.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, ready to move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right. So Carl insults Ramsey on Twitter, not realizing that his reply is public, and gains a large online following. He comes up with a new menu that his staff loves and invites Ramsey to a rematch, but quits after confronting Riva, who again wants the old menu made. At home, Carl prepares the menu he wanted while sous chef Tony serves Ramsey the same dishes from his prior visit. Ramsey tweets negatively about Carl, provoking him into a confrontation at the restaurant, which is recorded by everyone. The videos go mega viral, and it leaves him humiliated and unemployable.
So we didn't mention in the last section, but it kind of carries over into this one. I love the use of Twitter and social media, because this was kind of a time where like Twitter was still relatively new, and it was, you know, an up and coming thing. And like the whole idea of social media having such an effect on a person or a business was still a relatively new idea. Loved it. And I love how absolutely clueless Carl is about all of it. And he asks his 10-year-old son, hey, is this gonna get me sex?
Oh yeah, no, because all of the other chefs were like, oh man, don't look at Twitter. And he's like, what's on Twitter? And it's like, oh, pussy. And he's like, do I want to be on Twitter then?
Huh?
And then
so then he immediately asks his son, hey, set me up on Twitter.
Yeah, he's like, this is for sex, right?
And he's like, ew, no. He's like, is that what you're going to use it for? Like, no, not at all. No. But then immediately that night is like, at Ramsey Michelle, you're a dick. Come back.
I like to that his tweet starts fine. It's like, oh, like try this. Like we got a new menu. Like I want you to come try it. Asshole.
And then everyone at the restaurant too, they were like, do not send that. Like Martin and Tony were like, this is a terrible idea. He goes, sent it. Done. It's gone.
Yeah, I mean,
so funny.
The movie does date itself a lot with its Twitter use and later on its Vine use, RIP.
Yeah.
But I do
but I don't think it's really even in a bad way.
I think it's more of like a time capsule way.
Yeah.
Like here's how everyone was still like getting used to it. Like, remember back when instead of retweeting, it would pop up the same message and it would say RT.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I mean, it like you said, it definitely dates itself, but it's not like some movies where it's like they shoehorn in modern trends because like that's what's trendy when released. Like they actually use social media as a narrative tool to push the plot along in a good way.
That was available at the time.
It's unique. Right. That was available at the time. I mean, there are some movies where it's literally like they'll just be like, you know, what do the kids like?
Oh, what's this?
Yeah, they like.
What's this app called PeachTube? And you can watch moving pictures on it. Yeah.
The kids like Skibbity Toilet, right?
Riz.
Just put that in a movie. Riz. Man, this guy's gonna have so much Riz.
He is rizzed off the charts.
We do not condone this.
No.
L.
I'll tell you what though. Like I initially like I you know, obviously growing up I used to, at least for me, is like I never understood how people, like older people, fell out of touch with what was modern. And then I got to my age now, which I'm not old, I'm 25, but kids are now talking about all of this stuff, and I'm sitting here like, what the fuck are you talking about? And now I feel old. I feel out of touch already.
Was that already? It's like, was that us back then?
It was literally
not as, I don't think as bad, but we definitely had our fair share of
fringy
stuff.
Shit.
I mean, it's crazy how like we're all Gen Z. I mean, how steep the divide is between like us and like the Utes, as Joe Pesci would say. Yeah.
It. I still remember. Speaking of Vine, and we're talking about all this stuff, I remember I had one Vine. No, I had a couple Vines, but I had one Vine that I remember making, and it was me in high school with I taped a paper, like I drew a mustache on a piece of paper, and I taped it to. I did a Stephen A. Smith impression.
Oh no!
On Vine.
Oh no!
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, it was.
I wish we could recover our old stuff.
Oh no!
So
I know. And I had one skit that was probably one of the worst things. That I even had like I said the phrase wrong in the video and kept it in. It's so bad. Oh man, good times.
Yeah,
good times.
All right, let's continue.
Well, I was gonna say the confrontation is hilarious.
Oh my god, he has an absolute meltdown.
It's literally like, I'm not mad. Don't put it in the papers that I'm mad.
You're not getting to me, man.
You're not getting to me. You don't make molten lava cake, but you don't undercook it. It's a ganache.
You take a frozen cylinder of ganache and you put it in a ramekin so that when the outside cooks fully, the inside becomes molten. And then he grabs somebody, he goes, "It's molten! It's molten, you asshole!" Just has this absolute
But
meltdown.
I'm not mad.
You're not getting to me.
I'm not upset. But the words you said hurt my feelings.
It hurts. It hurt you. He's pointing at Reva. He's like, it hurt you. It hurt you.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to get closed down. It's just like, he's just having this absolute meltdown. And I love how you can see people in the back too, like literally like just being like,
Like, whoa.
like filming, like, ooh, what's that?
Yeah.
My favorite part about all of it, though, 2 parts. The very end, when he has the voice crack, he's like, it's molten! Just molten. And then ScarJo, when he comes into the restaurant, and he's like, well, first he's on the phone with him, and he's like, keep him there, I'm parking the car, keep the asshole there. And she's like, no, don't do that. And he comes in, and she's like, oh, fuck. She just throws her hands up. She's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But I also, jumping back a little bit, and something that I noticed a lot of in this movie, they do not show the food, like Carl making the food that he is not passionate about throughout the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't show him making the initial menu to Riva or to Ramsey Michelle. They didn't show the second time when the staff had to make it. But every time Carl was making something that he truly was passionate about or had care for, they showed it. They showed him making it and pouring all that love into it. And it was so beautifully shot and so well executed. And it was just awesome.
Mm-hmm. Again, it's like those scenes where it's like, man, it's so easy to like just see that and be like, I want to just cook right now. Like, I can do that. I can make his berries and cream.
Is that another meme for the kids?
No, but that's actually what he made. Berries and cream.
Yeah, but you don't know the meme?
No, I know the meme.
Do you not know the meme? Okay. Just
good.
the meme. All right, we're not out of touch yet, boys.
But that was also years ago. If you tried to do berries and cream, like now, someone's gonna be like, okay, oldie.
Yeah, what do you think? I'm gonna go skip away with my Riz on my skibbity toilet. That's the only things I know,
with
man.
My big fat yacht.
In Ohio.
I don't even get that one. I don't even know what that means.
No, me neither.
See, this is what I mean. Like, we're young, but we're already out of touch. Like, we don't get it. I don't get it.
Because stupid shit, that's why.
Okay. Are we the youngest people we work with? Like in the same age bucket?
Directly, there's one person who's a year younger than me.
Same bucket.
Same bucket.
Like yeah, it's like me and a couple other people are like around my age, and then I work with like 40-year-olds. Like
older people. Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk to them about like, oh, I saw this thing on TikTok, it was really funny here. And it's like,
yeah.
It's like a crocodile coming out of a toilet dancing. Like, what do I have to say about that?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you like this episode of us talking about random shit instead of the actual movie, we can get back on pace.
Thank you for reeling us back in.
You're welcome. That's what I'm good for.
Yes. The one thing that the first instance of something that I don't really like about this movie, or at least didn't make sense to me, is having seen the review and what happened, and assumedly how it affected his business. Why in the fuck would Riva want to make the same menu after he gets a second chance?
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
I was like, I mean, they explain it as like, we've got a full house of people that are expecting the hits, like blah, blah, blah. If Jagger didn't play Satisfaction, would you be happy? It's like,
yeah, but like there are those owners that don't take into account the head chef, and the head chef actually has a lot of input into the menu.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it
as they should.
You see it on Gordon.
They're the ones that make it.
You see it on Gordon Ramsay all the time. It's like all these owners that are like micromanaging everything. So
too involved, and the restaurant suffers because of that.
I can kind of see that in that area of how he was, but again, it sounded like he cares for his staff a little bit more. Riva does.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, Riva. I think Riva's problem is that he's a bottom line guy. He sees the numbers and the revenue, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't care if the food is creatively fulfilling or if it's like the best food it can be. If it sells, he wants it. And he gave up going like conceding to Carl after the sweetbread incident. So like I get it, but also this is like one of the biggest food bloggers out there who gave your restaurant a really bad score and said all the food was bland and uninspired. And you get a rare opportunity for him to come back and try a new menu, and you say, don't.
Yeah.
Make this man who almost ruined our business the exact same meal that almost ruined our business.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And I was like, okay. I would have preferred if all of that had happened in one chunk. Like the first and second review is like the meltdown happens, and he loses his job after the first review, or some sort of deal, you know, where he goes at him on Twitter or whatever. But like, we don't need the second review in that case because it plays out the same.
But I guess it said so. Carl actually like putting his foot down.
That's true.
Like, because the first time he concedes, he's like, "Fine, I'll make what you want." And this time, it's like, "No, I refuse. And if you're gonna fire me, then I'm already out the door because I'm not." Yeah. Like, this is now my reputation on the line. Like, I called him out. I laid down the gauntlet, and if you're not gonna let me do this, then I'm just not even gonna entertain it.
All right. Anything else? Do you want to move to the next section?
Yeah. All right. So.
All right. Let's do it.
Carl is struggling to find work after his incident, and he reluctantly accepts Inez's invitation to accompany her and Percy to Miami to visit her dad. While he's there, he rediscovers his love for Cuban cuisine. At her encouragement, her ex-husband Marvin offers him a dilapidated food truck. Carl and Percy begin to bond while restoring the truck and buying groceries, and Carl buys him a chef's knife. Martin, who was still working at Louise?
Sure.
Yeah. Turned down the opportunity to become the sous chef there and joins them for their food truck, and his passion as a chef has been reignited as well.
I love this. The complete change in the movie. I love it. And this is where the movie really, like, I know it's like we chose this as a summer movie. As soon as this part of the movie hits, that's where it feels like a true summer movie for me.
Yeah, see, I have to disagree with you on
I
that
push
one.
it back to the next section.
I don't think we really see. For me, this didn't really seem like a summer movie until like maybe the end.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Then again, I don't know.
No, I mean that's fair. That's totally fair. Because it does kind of like take a bit to get to that point. But I love the shift to Miami. It does take a while to get there, admittedly, and that's what I mean by maybe shortening some of that stuff at the beginning.
I think that's the main gripe I had with this movie was the beginning was so long in the restaurant and whatnot, and it just set up a little bit too longer for us to get to the main part of his
main course, as you will.
Of his
the appetizer took too long
because I feel like the whole food truck thing went a little too fast. I think it would have been better.
I can definitely agree with that
if they drew it out a little bit more. So
yeah, and I wish they had, honestly, because everything about the food truck is great. I mean, I love well, first off, Carl and Molly, like Jon Favreau and Scarlett Johansson, I didn't need that storyline. Like, you could have cut their whole deal completely out of the movie. I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
But the shift to Miami is great. As soon as we get there, we get this whole vibe change. You know, you get to see the Cuban culture in Miami, which is awesome. Discovering his love for Cuban cuisine, and then we get the Marvin stuff. The Robert Downey Jr. cameo, which is absolutely unhinged.
That was also a little.
It was a lot.
A little forced in there.
It was a lot. I mean, you know that John just brought him in because he was his friend and said, I need someone to do this and just do what you want. Just do what you want.
We got to get from point A to point B. You got to offer me this food truck. How we get there, that's up to you. Like, say whatever you want.
I just love how unhinged he is, like just jumping from point to point. He's like, here, help me pick out these swatches. And I could keep the baby, right? Except it's not my baby because I got my tubes tied. Also, how do you feel about the color?
Also, I fucked your wife.
Also, yeah. Maybe we had an affair. I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like I saw a little bit too much Tony Stark in his character. I think that's...
I mean, this was the height of MCU, Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's why I feel like I just saw a little too much Tony Stark in there because he acted the same exact way as he would.
Or is it Victor Von
Tony,
Doom
why are
now?
you selling? Hey. Oh man, what a shit show the MCU is, man. I'll tell you what, they are getting desperate.
Honestly,
but that's not a time for this
have
review.
an Avengers cooking show. I think they'll do better.
Oh, dude, can you imagine having an Avengers cookie show? Just Thor trying to make some shit. It's just all shawarma.
All right, let's get back to it.
Sam's reeling us back in. I also like the cleaning of the montage of them cleaning the food truck because it reminded me of how every like kid is with his dad working. It's like, just do that. I need you to clean the whole truck. And he starts cleaning the truck. Like, oh no, don't clean that. We're gonna get rid of that. Clean something else. And you're just like, I just spent a half hour cleaning this.
And then he's like, oh, I'm not going to clean that. He's like, yeah, you are. We're going to reuse it.
It's like, Dad.
Yeah, that was disgusting, by the way. Yeah. It's like, you can buy another one of those pans. No, I am not. I'm putting my foot down. We are not serving food out of a thing that has something that might be from 1984 in here.
Yeah. I liked all the montages in this movie. I really like the ones of them at grocery stores and like the getting
Farmers
like all the
stuff.
Yeah, getting all the furniture that they needed for the truck. I just like that. I feel like it was good moments of bonding between him and Percy, but it was also like low-key one of the better ways to show just how smart Carl is and Jon Favreau is when it came to like all like these cooking things. But also just like how you can start to see the passion come back. Like, all right, we need this, we need this, we need this.
Absolutely.
You can see like the wheels in his head turning. Because I know there was a line where he said, a good chef, like you just walk into a grocery store and you make your menu based off what you see. Like,
right. And that's, I love that you brought that up because one of my points was like, you get the two grocery shopping scenes. Where in the beginning, Carl just goes to the store and he's like, all right, I need a bunch of these and I use these and for this menu and I use this and I need this and how many do you have of that? And that, all right. But then you get like later on, he brings along Percy again and he's like, okay, we don't have a menu, but a good chef will, make a menu out of the ingredients. And he starts talking about that passion, like you mentioned, of like, here's, what this is, and we can use this to make this, and this is Martin's favorite, and this is the types of these, and all this like stuff where you can clearly see that his passion is coming back. 100%. I agree. I love it, and it's a good teaching moment too, not only for like Carl to Percy, but for the movie to the audience of like, we did our research, and here's some things that you can know about food and about equipment and. Oh, look at this. These are the planchas, and we're going to use this to make our Cuban sandwiches. And how do you like this stove? And, all that kind of stuff. And here's a chef's knife. And you got to be, this is yours. There's so much good teaching moments that really makes the bond between father and son hit so much harder.
Because you could take like, I mean, my dad never like taught me how to cook, but like that moment for me was like getting a baseball glove from my dad. Like that moment where it's like, all right, this is something that means something to me. I'm giving it to you.
I think every every son whose dad is there and wants them to learn, like they have that experience. I know I did for sure.
Like that passing of the torch.
I loved it.
So I'm so happy that John Leguizamo made it for this part of the movie too. Like, because it could have just been the Carl and Percy show the entire time, but we needed Martin.
Everyone needs a friend like Martin. Everyone needs a friend like Martin. Who literally told him, like, in the beginning of the movie, like, wherever you go, I'm there. I don't give a shit. And he follows up on his word. He's like, yeah, I'm here. I heard you had a food truck. You told me you had a food truck. I'm there, man. And he's like, John's like, okay, it pays nothing. He's like, you don't scare me. Fucking, I'm in. I love it. It
really goes to like the just the passion of it. It's like, I don't care. We're gonna lose money on this for a while, but we're gonna cook things and we're gonna have like the most fun like we've ever had professionally. I would trade any paycheck for that.
And it shows the bond between like chefs and stuff too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. There's a brotherhood there, and to top it off, like Jon Favreau and John Leguizamo have an amazing chemistry together. I mean, they are like, it's like you know that they're best friends. Like you just know it, you just see it, and it's so good. Yeah, okay, so I guess we can touch on this section. Another part of the movie that I really didn't care for, just a very short part, was when they finally open the food truck, they go to, what is it, South Beach? Is that in Miami? And the cop shows up. I didn't care for that scene.
Yeah, I did skip through that one.
It was good. It was good up until he was like, let's get some pictures. He was like, okay, pictures, and then more pictures. And that was just like a little too much, guys. Let's just rein it back a little bit.
Well, I thought it was gonna be. So when that happened, I thought it was gonna bite him. Like he was like, "Oh, let's ask for pictures and stuff like that." He was acting kind of like sus. See, I'm using more slang. I thought he was gonna like go on social media and like dock him or something like that. Like the cop was.
Yeah.
Like that's what I thought. And then I guess another quick scene was the cornstarch on the balls. That was
wild.
I'm like, why? I don't think that was needed either.
And I love how he had it in the script, like Carl says to his son, yeah, you can dip your nuts in oil and they'll make hush puppies.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. All right, Carl. But that was wild. I didn't mind that scene as much, but yeah, it was definitely.
I think it just went on a bit too long. Say the beach, like, because I first thought like, oh, they don't have a permit probably.
That's what I thought initially.
It's like, oh, so here we're gonna get like a little minor conflict, but like they'll figure it out and they'll just move on. But no, it just was like, oh, you're the restaurant guy, right? You're the lava cake guy.
Yeah, you're the meltdown dude.
Yeah. I guess what we're talking about, we can just get to that section.
Yeah, let's get to that section.
So Carl, Martin, and Percy drive the truck named El Jefe across the country to Los Angeles, serving Cuban sandwiches and yuca fries. Percy promotes them on social media, and they find success in Miami, South Beach, New Orleans, and Austin, Texas, where their daily specials, including po' boys, beignets, and barbecued brisket, made with local ingredients, find a lot of success.
Yeah, do you want to just like finish it out?
Yeah, might as well.
Because right.
Back in,
because it kind of all flows together.
Yeah. Back in LA, Carl gets emotional as he watches a video Percy put together of their trip together. Having strengthened his relationship with Percy, Carl accepts his son's offer to help with the food truck, even though Percy is getting ready to go back to school. Inez also offers to help. Ramsey visits the truck to... Are you okay, Aaron?
Yeah.
You're just like invested in the Frannies.
I was intently reading the Frannies.
I was like, did you accidentally just like poison yourself?
No, I was checking to see how much caffeine was in the Fradies.
No, I don't think it's that much.
46 milligrams, by the way.
Yeah, that's like less than half.
All right.
Yeah, sorry.
Do I need to reel you guys in again?
No,
That was
we're
like the
good.
fifth time this podcast.
Listen, I saw him studying it like Hamlet with the skull, so I needed to make sure he was okay. To be or not to be, looking ass. Ramsey visits the truck to explain his bad review. He was an early fan of Carl, but he was disappointed by a meal he felt was beneath Carl's skill. Impressed with the chef's return to form, Ramsey offers to bankroll a new restaurant where Carl will have full creative control, since he now has a ton of money after selling his review site. 6 months later, the successful new restaurant is open, and Carl and Inez are remarried. The end.
This is the best part of the movie for me. This road trip is easily the best part of the movie.
This is where it felt like a summer movie
and the part
for me.
that
like the road trip aspect of it.
Yeah, I needed more of it, honestly. But I love them going to each location, and we kind of get like a little bit like, here's a little bit about New Orleans, and you're gonna see like real New Orleans staple stuff, and they're gonna make specific stuff that's related to where they're at, and I love that.
Yeah, they adopted the culture,
and it just continues to grow the relationship between Carl and Percy. Of like at the beginning of the movie, Carl brought him places because he needed to do stuff for work. Here, now that things are different, he brought him to Cafe Du Monde to get a beignet just because he wanted to. And that hit hard for me. I was like, damn. It feels real. And you could tell too from Percy, who was like genuinely shocked. And I love it.
Yeah, I just the whole montage of them like trying new foods, and this is more of like Percy's getting to learn how to cook too in the truck, even though like he is 10 or however old he is, so they just kind of like keep him on like grilled or like toast duty. Yeah, but I like to see how like, because in the kitchen it's a well-oiled machine, especially in like that tight of a space.
Yeah,
and I liked how like Percy knew it, and he was like, okay, like I'm not gonna just stand in everyone's way. I'm not gonna like keep asking for help. Like you gave me a job, I'm going to do it.
I love that. And it's something that he really genuinely wanted to do too. It wasn't just like, oh, I have to,
like I'm stuck here.
Work on a food truck with my dad. Like, yeah, he actually genuinely wanted to do it and learn, and I love that. The stuff in Austin, the barbecue, first off, that fucking barbecue looks so good. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But I also love the music that they incorporated, like Texas blues kind of with Gary Clark Jr., who's the artist, who's a legit artist, who makes that's his music that he was playing. He's an awesome musician, by the way. If you ever have a chance to check out his music, check it out. But I love that they just bring him in to this movie and they're like, yeah, man, you're just gonna play a concert. I can just feel how fun that was to film that day.
Oh yeah.
They literally just brought him in and be like, yeah, play a concert. We're going to have a bunch of extras enjoying the show. We're going to film a couple scenes and you're just going to play a bunch of music.
Yeah. We're going to make you the best sandwich you've ever had, too.
Oh,
God. Yep. You know, like the food on set was bang.
Oh, what I would give to be on that set in 2014.
Yeah.
So good. What did you think of the ending? Like, getting towards the back half. They get back to LA now.
I feel like, so something I didn't mention, but Percy, as they were getting closer to the end of their little trip, he was like, I would love to keep doing this. Like, I would love to keep working with you. And Carl was a bit like, he was a bit hesitant. He was like, well, you know, you got school, like, we're not going to be able to keep this dynamic up the entire year. And then when he sees, like, because Percy was making like a little montage, like a second of every day they were together, And that was when
that was good. I like that.
Yeah. And that's when he was like, you know what? We can still make this work. It doesn't have to end now that summer is coming to an end. So I did like that scene of like, it was like really completing that arc of them becoming like a family again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I love that. I liked too how we get the return of Ramsey Michelle too, like to wrap up that he isn't just this antagonist for the whole movie. And Oliver Platt, who plays Ramsey Michelle, Oliver Platt is good in everything he does, and I love him as an actor, along with John Leguizamo. I've always loved Oliver Platt. I think he, even in a limited role, he knocked it out of the park. But I love that we get the explanation of like why the review was so bad. I love it.
Yeah, I think that was needed.
Yeah, because I mean his reviews were like, clearly it went beyond the food. Like if he had just, like if the meal just wasn't that good, I don't think he would have taken it as personal. But for him to have like a bit deeper of a connection and being like, no, like this was, like I was disappointed in you, and that's why.
Well, I was gonna say that. I think that's why they wrote the character so like that. To just go further than the just the food, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, finding out that like this was the first guy that Ramsey Michelle ever really endorsed openly on his blog, and a guy that he had been following, and to see that fall from grace of like, here's a dude who's up and coming and making great food and, you know, fully creative, and now he's a shell of himself making, you know, trash basically. Like, yeah, you're gonna write some bad shit about that dude, and I totally get it. But then I love that he's like, no, you're back, and you're so back that I want to back you. And bend over, and we're gonna back right now.
What? I thought we were over this.
No,
he bareback mounted him.
This could the Brokeback Mountain. He was like, I could mukbang this right now.
I thought it was a little intense. Like it was, I sold my site for a shit ton of money, and I'm giving it to you essentially. Like, but I think it goes to like,
but
he's also very passionate about food, and it's like, I would much rather create something that is good, creative, and it's going to bring a lot of people joy, instead of like keeping reviewing places and having to be all negative. And it's a good turn for me.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. And my favorite line in the movie, he is like, this shit is good. It's delicious. Delicioso. Mucho gudo. It's like, yep, that's it. What do you think of the Carl and Inez getting remarried?
Yeah, I didn't really. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it.
Yeah,
I mean,
cute little wrap up, happy ending type.
Right.
it's like he was going to get back with one of them. Either it was going to be Scarlett Johansson or it was going to be Sophia. So,
oh, of course, you knew that when he wrote the characters. He was like, he's going to get back with one of them.
He's like, how's Adam Sandler do this
so
again?
help me God.
You just end up with.
He just writes it.
You write yourself to end up with.
Oh, you just do it? Oh, okay. Oh, wait, you can do that? Yeah, you write your own movie. You can do that. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyone have anything else for this movie before we go to our scores?
I've said my piece.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's go to our scores. So at the end of every review, if you're not familiar, we go over, we have 5 categories that we like to look at. First off with the acting. Who wants to go first talking about the acting?
I'll go.
Oh.
Oh.
Go ahead.
We got an I'll go off.
It's our theme. I'll go. It's our catchphrase.
That should be our podcast theme. Our podcast tagline. I'll go.
So the acting.
Go ahead.
All right, someone go, please.
I thought the acting was very, very good. It's kind of like like learning how to cook at like this high of a level too is extremely underappreciated. So even if like the performances were like meh, I would still give them a lot of praise, because to learn how to do like this completely new skill that is really hard to master at that level, so impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving it a 4 because also chemistry was great between everyone.
Yeah. I'm there with you. I actually gave it a 4.5. A lot of the reasons that you said, I mean, I think everyone was perfectly cast. Everyone blew it out of the park. Everyone played their roles exactly how they needed to be. Chemistry was really great. And I think you're right. Learning to cook for a movie, like, that takes a lot of skill and a lot of hard work. And the credit needs to be there for these guys who are not chefs, but they learned how to do it for this movie, and it worked so well. So 4.5 for me.
Yeah, I give it a 4, just the same reasons as you guys said. I didn't really have any issues with any of the acting or casting, but nothing like outstanding. So
yeah.
All right. Next we got story concept. Sam, why don't you kick us off with story concept?
All right. So like I said before, I think my main issue with this movie was that they spent a little bit too much time in the beginning with the restaurant kind of deal. I wish they did expand on a little bit more with the food truck I guess plot. But other than that, I think it was I liked the story. I think it would have been great, obviously just like maybe 2 movies of like one movie of just the restaurant, one movie of the food truck or whatever.
Or a 3.5 hours Snyder cut of
the Scorsese masterpiece.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I made a deal. I made a deal to make a movie, but I had to split it into 2 parts, and I made a director's cut
because the first one was so badly received.
Yes.
That was
because
the plan.
I can't make a movie that's under 7.5 hours long.
Okay, James Cameron. But yeah, I give it a 3.75.
Right.
Yeah, Connor. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right, Connor, how about you for story concept?
I'm giving it a 4. For I think exactly what you were saying, Sam. I think the road trip aspect, the food truck, kind of made up for a lot of what I felt were deficiencies in like the first half. Just kind of like being a bit too sluggish and not being as entertaining. But once they get the truck, once they start putting it together, it's like really great. I love this the bonding of Percy and Carl. So I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah, and I gave it a 4 as well. I think the idea of the movie is unique and special. The execution of the story, yeah, I left a little bit to be desired in that you guys are right. There needed to be more road trip, less restaurant, or maybe just more movie to show more road trip.
Exactly,
I mean, they had more time to do stuff. So, but what was put on screen was executed well. The story was unique and fun and easy to follow, with no like loose hanging threads or things that were added in unnecessarily. It was simple, to the point, and focused on the characters and their love of cooking. And I love that. So I gave it a 4. Next, we got the visuals, and I'll kick us off for this. I gave it a 4 as well. For the most part, the movie itself, pretty plainly shot. There wasn't a lot of scenes that were super unique. Where it really, really shined visually was the cooking. And the cooking is what brings it from just an average. Like if there was no shots of the cooking, it would probably be like a 2.5, just perfectly average. but all of the food being made and how much care and how special they made those moments of Carl cooking things that he was passionate about were so well done and so special that it bumped it all the way up to a 4 for me.
Yeah, I was gonna echo what you just said. I think, again, nothing too special with the rest of the movie, but again, the kitchen scenes, the cooking, the close-ups of him chopping the onions, whatever, stuff like that was great. I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
I'm right there with you, Sam. I give it 3.5. Again, like you guys have said, the editing with the cooking is phenomenal. Just the scenes of even Carl, like in his own kitchen, putting together like little dishes. It's really, like, really entertainingly shot. The other editing choices I didn't really like were like all the tweets that would pop up.
I kind of saw. Yeah, it was a little distracting.
Yeah, especially when like they would turn into birds. It's like, okay, this is like 2014 to its core. It's like, oh, they're called tweets because the bird is a bird app. Let me turn them into birds. So 3.5.
Okay. Then we got the writing. So Connor, why don't you start with the writing?
I have no complaints with the writing whatsoever. I thought some lines were very funny. And other times I didn't really care. But I thought it was paced well enough, mainly more towards the back end, which made up for a bit of slower moments in the front end. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
I mean, a couple things I had an issue with was the whole ScarJo thing. I don't think they wrote her character very well.
Yeah.
Or if they did, it was all right. And also one other thing was they did the stereotypical father doesn't know how to be a dad kind of thing to the kid, and then oh wait, they bonded at the end. However, to negate that, I think that they did the bondage very well.
Hey yo.
Oh wow. Bondage, mukbang. What else are we gonna get on this episode?
No, they wrote the bonding between the Carl and Percy very well.
I love how you realized what you were gonna say and prepared yourself. You're like, hey, ready for this?
You're like,
bondage.
There's no way we can get around it. We just gotta go right through it.
Well, we'll see what Aaron, whatever Aaron's on right now tonight too. So,
yeah, I thought the writing really fucked itself in the ass. No, oh yeah, you have more to say.
Well, I need to give my score.
Oh yeah.
I also gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. Yeah, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 too. I think, for the most part, they wrote the chemistry between the characters really, really well. John Favreau, John Leguizamo, very well written characters. There were scenes that did not make sense to me, weren't necessary. I think you're absolutely right, Sam. The ScarJo scenes could have been cut completely. Didn't need them.
Or just at least write it differently. Like, have her go on the road trip with him, or whatnot. Like, have him go with her.
It kind of feels like at maybe halfway through, it was kind of like what you were saying, Aaron. It's like, which girl am I going to end up with? And they were like, okay, I still want to keep this option open. But then once they decided, no, we'll have him. We're going to get Carl back with Inez. They're like, but we already wrote all this stuff for ScarJo. They're like, forget it. Just don't. That last scene we see of her in the first 30 minutes, we're good.
If you don't put her on the call sheet, she won't be in the movie.
You need to put her on the poster.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so I gave it a 3.5. So that's going to bring us to our overall enjoyment score. This is our final score for the review, and also the most important because it is our final review score for the movie.
For the review.
Sam.
For the movie. Final review ever.
Yep. This is our last words we will ever speak in our lives. After this, we are going to ritually cut off our tongues and never speak again.
Kind of the plot, speak no evil.
All right.
Coming out.
Yeah. All right, Sam, why don't you kick us off? What is your score for this movie?
All right. So if you add up all my scores, it comes out and averages to a 3.68, which I'm going to round up to a 3.7.
All right.
I love how you rounded it up, but just so. just
a
so.
smidge.
Well, Connor's the only one on this sheet that does not have a weird number. He has all like,
Yeah,
I'm
he
a
does
man
not.
of principle.
They're all even.
I refuse.
but I'm a man of difference, and like if we just gave them all, we'd have 5 movies out of 4.
Thank you. That's what I say.
We need a straight man here. If you guys are zigging, I gotta zag.
Together.
Well, all right. So I'll go next. I love this movie. It is a warm blanket movie for me. I can watch it any day of the week. It's one of my favorite movies that I've ever seen. I think you said it earlier on, Connor, like you love cooking movies and stuff like that. I'm right there too. I love movies about food, movies about cooking. They speak to me in a way that a lot of other movies don't. And that's how I felt about this one. So when you add up all my scores, it equals out to a flat 4.
Oh, thank God.
But I love this movie so much, I bumped it up to a 4.5.
Thank you.
So it's still an even number
I was
for
gonna
Connor.
say if you're like I have to bump it up to a 4.36, I'd actually hang up. And I'd quit.
Yep, that would be the end. No, it's a 4.5 for me.
So to wrap it up, I really enjoyed this movie. Makes you really want to find that passion for something. Cause like that's obviously one of the undertones of this movie is beyond the cooking. It's like you need to find what is going to drive your life, and it's not always the thing that you think it will be, like the secure job, high paying job, whatever it is. It's taking the risk, going out on your own, finding something that you're passionate about. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. It's definitely super enjoyable. It's one that I've seen my dad have on. He got the DVD, and I was trying to find it to watch it today. But I know I've seen my dad watch this maybe like 6 times. So I'm giving it a 4. Super enjoyable.
All right, so that brings our average score between the three of us to a 4.07, which drops it into the top 10 for movies that we've reviewed on this podcast. At number 7 overall. Just above Moana and Halloween 2018, which set at a flat 4. And just below 500 Days of Summer at a 4.13 score. So
kicks the Meg out of the top 10.
And it kicks the Meg out of the top 10. Short-lived top 10 entrant, the Meg. But Grown Ups is still in the top 10, baby.
We have Grown Ups in the top 10.
Sam, if you had just bumped your 2.7 up to just a nice round 3. But nope.
Well,
and a principle.
Nope.
And if you want to know why we're making fun of Grown Ups, listen to the podcast where we rank Aaron's top 25 movies.
Yeah, please do, because it is something. But hey, I was not the only one who reviewed Grown Ups on this podcast. We all reviewed Grown Ups on this podcast, and that's the score we gave it. So can't be mad about that.
We didn't have it in our top 25 movies of all time.
We can say it's a fun movie without saying that this is better than this is a top 25 movie.
Apparently, it's a top 10 movie for us. Apparently.
Yeah, but look at the movies we've reviewed.
Yeah, Madam Web is on there, so I mean...
We got a lot of schlock.
And Fred Claus. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. If you like what you listened to, I know I said it earlier in the episode, but share it with your friends. Leave a rating, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, share it out tell people about it. Tell people about us. I know we've got some new people coming in. Look, we have a lot of fun doing this, and it means the world to us if you share it, help us grow along with you. You can follow us on Twitter at FilmboxPod. You can follow me on TikTok and Twitter, or I post a bit about the movie industry on each of those platforms. Those will be linked in the show notes below. And you can follow us on Letterboxd. Each of our Letterboxd are linked in the description. So yeah, follow us on there to see what we're watching, when we're watching. You don't have to wait for these episodes to come out to know what we've been watching. You can see it when we do. Like all of Connor's movies that he watches on a weekly basis because he's a maniac and watches a billion. And you can go to our website at pressplayback.com for new movie reviews and a bunch of other exciting content that we've got coming up in the pipeline. So look forward to that. And yeah, with that said, Connor, do you have some movies for us to get to?
Yeah, so if you listened last time, I said I was changing it up. Instead of having them pick 1 through 5, I got a list of 18 movies that I'm gonna watch, but they're just gonna pick the order. Last week it was Rope in The Farewell, so gentlemen, pick a number 1 through 18, just not 1 or 14.
So how about 1 through 16?
I have them already numbered, and I would not like to change it.
Okay. I'll
number
go with
11.
14.
You said
I'm gonna go with number 10.
10 and 11.
There you go.
All right, I'm watching Perfect Blue and Sound of Metal.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll see you next time on the Filmbox Podcast.
Have a skibidi day, you Rizzlers.
Yeah.